Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Disco Elysium, where our investigation is in really full swing here. So we are definitely headed back down to the fishing village. We're still kind of hoping to find little Lily. We're still hoping to find that young girl whose name is too hard to pronounce. No human being could do it. And then also we gotta track down this stuff, even though we're relatively sure that the shot came from the roof. And of course, we gotta find Ruby. I think that's by a large margin the most important thing. I still don't necessarily think that Ruby is guilty of this, but we need to at least hear what she has to say, if anything. It's entirely possible that we just won't actually be able to find her. She is supposedly very good at hiding here, if maybe nowhere else, due to her encyclopedic knowledge of Martinez. This is a bad sign for my detective brain today. I do really wish that we had managed to pass that shivers check on the roof with Klausya. I'm worried that we're missing an important piece of the puzzle here. Plus, I think it makes a lot of sense for our version of this detective to really just sometimes get feelings about things that he can't quite understand, and then use his overdeveloped sense of logic to stitch them together into some kind of narrative that makes a twisted sort of sense to him, if not to anyone else. That sounds like him all over, man. Alright, so let's cross the waterlock and get the hell over here. I guess, actually, we should make sure we're looking everywhere, though. Can we interact with this yet? Can we do anything meaningful with this? Oh. Jamrock Biker Cop Sunnies. You know, plus empathy sunglasses. For taking your Harmelryu Supersonic out for a ride on the streets of Jamrock where your heart is buried. We don't really need a lot more sources of empathy. That honestly is probably not going to be that valuable to us. But so that's interesting. That thing was white and completely uninteractable before, and then we got enough blue something to be able to interact with it properly and take the loot out of it, which is also something that happened in one of these abandoned houses. Right, there was a thing that we just couldn't interact with until suddenly we could. So I don't, oh, wait, hold on. I'm having a thought. Where was that thought? Here we go. Well, the shot couldn't have come from here. Trees block the way. Okay, apparently this was one of the spots that we were supposed to be investigating. I was mostly going to just run around and look for Ruby first. But yeah, fair point. We should probably go up on the boardwalk next and see what's what over there. Keep periodically checking for new stuff. Actually, let's stop back inside the house and see if Lily is here. See if the child is here, because we really could use the gloves of this armor. Also the helmet, which is in the water somewhere. Okay, there she is. Hey, I heard there was a girl here who has armored gloves. Is that you? Ooh, she looks alarmed. I had gloves, very big ones, heavy too. And where did you get these gloves? I found them when Lammy and I were playing hide and seek, in an empty house where no one lives. I think someone hid them there. No, she doesn't want you to think she stole them. Okay, but where are the gloves now? I hid them. The twins were going to take them. They're stupid. She lifts her stuffed toy up and looks into its one remaining eye, as though searching for confirmation. And the toy whispers into her ear in a voice no one else can hear. Yes, that's right. Kill them all. We're going to need those gloves. It's for important police business. He enunciates the last two words carefully. Ooh, she doesn't seem to understand, but the lieutenant's tone has conveyed to her the important part. They're in my sandcastle. She points somewhere outside. Behind our house, under the sand. You can break the castle. It's not very good. Also, while we're here, do you know anyone named Ruby? Ruby? Suddenly the girl gets all serious and leans in, as if she's about to tell you a secret. My mom tells me I'm a big girl, but she doesn't know that I can't say or sometimes I can, but then Kids. The lieutenant shakes his head. Man, come on, she's trying. Be nice. Alright, thank you, Lily. You've been very helpful. Is that the phasmid? It looks like the phasmid, leaning against the wall. Wait. Okay, try to sneak up on it. Oh, it's not the phasmid. It's not even organic. It's a fire iron. Well, that's disappointing. I can't believe it. Right? You'll have better luck next time, though. The phasmid. Finding it is your destiny. I do believe that finding the phasmid is my destiny. We're going to spend the whole game debunking dubious supernatural things, and then in the last moment, the Insulindian phasmid is going to come out of nowhere and save our lives. A tag team of it and the Koldomamodakwa. Her sand castle. Yeah, that is it right there. Weather has not been kind to Lily's little sandcastle. The once mighty towers are quickly eroding away. You can see something shining back to you from what must have been a vast underground catacomb network. Well, let's reach in and get it. The walls and floors give way to the giant's greed, collapse, and present you with a pair of ceramic gauntlets. Congratulations. That's the gauntlets down, then. We're doing good on the armor collection front. And probably it's late enough in the day that we could call up the station in the Kanima and they could get back to us about the armor. But let's ask around about Ruby while we're over here first.
Our tenant, the policeman. I hope the waves don't keep you up at night. What can I help you with?
It does feel a little shitty to have her, like, giving us room and board for free, and then I'm like, hey, could you also do some chores for me? Have you seen a red-haired woman named Ruby around the coast? Nay, I haven't seen anyone lately. Right, because she's blind, which you seem to have forgotten. I didn't mean literally seen. Okay, but do you know who I'm talking about? This is the question I was clearly asking. This is my little cinderblock town, she nods with a wrinkled smile. I know what goes on around here. She's being evasive. She knows something. There was a murder in Martinez. He points east. She might be a suspect. We would appreciate your help. Would you now? She turns to him. I know how this world works, and it doesn't work when people tell on each other. Okay, this is like when that man locked himself in the woodshed. We just need to help her come out. No, it's not like that man. With him, we called you. Right now, you just arrived by yourself, like a raven plucking at the window glass. I see. You know something, but you've decided not to tell us. Seems like a weird thing to say out loud, but let's just make sure that she understands that I understand what the situation is. Well, there's not much to tell. People come and go. Now, was there something else? I see, ma'am. The lieutenant turns to you. I hope you don't mind if we look around anyway. You should look around your shack. Maybe she's rented it out to others, too? Well, I mean, I guess it's possible that Ruby was staying in the shack, like, in the couple of days that we were here and blackout drunk. I don't know, man. It doesn't feel like there would be any clues in here. I definitely would not come in here and look if we hadn't been explicitly told to do so. A brisk coastal wind still howls against the window of the shack. Occasionally, the waves crawl in under the foundation, producing a low hum. The room feels muffled, like you pulled your hat over your ears. Outside it is cold and windy, but you're inside and it feels safe and warm. What is this place to you? They accidentally turned on the caps lock. Yeah, that's okay. This is... What is this place to me? And basically, it's my forward base for the coastal part of the operation. I think that's a reasonable answer. Overhead, you hear the forlorn shriek of the seagulls. Far below the birds, a wooden boardwalk filled with abandoned stands, tables and benches, echoes from a long-lost time. A middle-aged man stands in a run-down shack on the edge of a fishing village, listening to the heater hum on the wall. Yeah, Thank you, strange sensation, for a fair assessment of the current situation. Outside, the howl of the wind has picked up. The waves crash against the stilts again. It's as if you think the thought, but in someone else's voice. Look under the floorboards. That is weird. Well, you know, it's just the beating. It's the beating of that interminable heart. I guess let's have a look. As you look at the floorboards in this corner of the shack, it's clear one of them isn't quite level with the others. The edge of the floorboard next to it looks scratched. Let's move it aside. The hollow space underneath the floorboards is dark and damp. You can barely make out the mixture of sand and sawdust below. What's in here? Nothing particular catches your eye. Looks like more reeds? There might be something hidden inside the sand, though. I mean, one almost has to assume. You stick your hand and start combing through the sand. Dry, not like outside. Fine dust, and then something hard wrapped in paper. We found a small cylindrical object. You pull it out. A bullet. 9mm, not the type that was used in the murder weapon. The floorboard doesn't care, but maybe the washerwoman does. You have enough to confront her with. It's extra ammunition. She's locked and loaded, ready to fight some cops. Holding the bullet, you get the feeling this isn't ammunition against you. It's for herself. That's strangely put. See, this is what happens when you have the supernatural super cop senses that we've developed over a long and illustrious career of doing police work while 100% trashed. I don't know that we really do have enough. Like, again, I'm going to pursue this because I was told to pursue it. I was told that it was a thing we could do. But it doesn't feel to me like we do, in fact, have enough to press this woman with. Hey, I found a bullet under the house. It's like a real weird approach. Clenching and unclenching your fist has never been so fun. The tiny ceramic plates make a lovely clicking sound when your fingers move. The gloves are a bit sandy, but the grip is phenomenal. +2 interfacing with no downside. That's actually pretty good. Those are some pretty damn good gauntlets. Tiffany disagrees. What do you know? You're a dog. You can't even wear gloves.
The policeman. I hope the waves don't keep you up at night. What can I help you with?
Why was there a bullet under the floorboards of your shack? God damn that girl, she murmurs softly. And without anger. A long and harsh life has taught her not to buckle under pressure, and also, apparently, that everyone will always disappoint you. A bullet. The lieutenant turns to you and gives you a little nod. Then turns to the washerwoman. You didn't put it there, did you? She did. Gone and hid things in there, she shakes her head. She's usually a good tenant, and not a stupid one either. So you rented the room to her. The old woman sits in silence, her hands moving into the washer bucket. Some water sloshes over the edge. Slowly she speaks, wringing out a rag. Yes, I lent my room to that Ruby girl. As I've done before when she's been in trouble, or just looking for solitude. I've made it clear, we welcome all kinds of people here. And when was this? She came last Friday, left on Monday in a hurry. Her wrinkled hand needs a blue rag in the water. What has she gotten herself into, that girl? She seems genuinely worried about her previous tenant. She's seen her hiding out from trouble before, but this seems different. That's for the police to find out. The lieutenant takes out his familiar blue notebook. Right then, please answer each question to the best of your ability. I'm sure we have a few. So you said she left on Monday? Yes, early, with the dogs. Around 8 o'clock, I think. She probably heard the lieutenant's Kanema drive by and it woke her up, just like it did you. She must have heard your Kanema. Yes, that is the downside of having a 130 kilowatt engine. His voice is tinged with pride. It lets the bad guys know when you're coming. So, what is she like, Ruby? She's good company, knows how to talk to an old woman. She rubs her cold hands together. At my age, you don't get a lot of quality conversation, so I really appreciate that about her. Did she talk to you much during her last stay? No, she was mostly silent this time, kept to herself. But what do you mean? She tried not to let it show, but I could tell she hadn't come to fish. Usually she likes to cast a few lines, but this time she mostly stayed in her room. So why do you think she left the bullet there? Well, how would I know? She's a gruff one, but not violent. She doesn't go around toting a gun. She looks back toward her shack, thinking. You could ask her about your hunch, that it was a desperate measure, see if she thinks Ruby fits the bill. I have a possible explanation. Alright, do tell. A seagull flies overhead. Obviously a bad omen. Seagulls are pretty much always bad omens. It's an exit plan. Exit from what? This world? The lieutenant stops writing for a moment. He looks at you, then at the old woman. She tilts her head to the side, looking up at you, deep in thought. Then she makes up her mind. No, she's a fighter. She really believes that. Okay, I mean, that's good. Character information is good. We need to sort of, understand who Ruby is. I was hoping to do that by talking to her, but this is a good plan B. I heard she was a heavy drinker with anger issues. You ever witnessed that kind of behavior? Oh, nothing of the sort. She shakes her head. Sure, she was no stranger to the bottle. She fit in that way. But I only knew her to have a beer on the beach while watching the sunset. She isn't what you'd call a drunk. Even offered me some from time to time. Said it was part of the communeur life. I never saw her lose control of herself the way some people do. Yeah, Clash's story is nonsense, huh? So is the room exactly as she left it? I cleaned it like I always do. And was there anything else there? No. The truth. So where did she go? I don't know. Further up the coast. She tried to leave quietly, but the hinges on the door screeched like a cat in heat. Woke me up. I heard her rushing in those heavy boots, heading up north. It's a peninsula. She might be trapped. Yeah, this was not a smart move. She must be on the other side of that door, huh? The big heavy door. After a moment of silence, she says, You'll never find her, you know. Her tone is without malice. She knows the coast like the back of her hand. You only just arrived. I wouldn't worry about that, ma'am. We're persistent. Are you sure she didn't go somewhere more pleasant and less wet, maybe? Yes, it's going to be too much work for you to find her. She drops the rag into the bucket. It's clean now. Better for you to stay here, get a nice cozy fire going in the heater. The Feld electric mural. You feel like you should go look at it again. Step closer this time. I do get a lot of weird hunches lately, don't I? I think we're good here. One thing, officer, if you do find her, please go easy on her. She looks around. The air is getting colder. She really means it. It's an honest plea. She's a good girl, whatever she's gotten herself mixed up in. We'll see. Alright, let's go check out the Feld electric mural, I guess. Don't really need to talk to anybody else about this. It seems like we've got a story anyway. Maybe not the story. So much of this stuff over here is impassable, actually. Maybe getting into that building where we could see the operable stairs is part of finding Ruby. We gotta actually run all the way around here. We do need to go up on the boardwalk at some point for ballistics evidence as well. Wait, that's the Feld electric mural. Hold on, I'm going to the wrong building. Fortunately, Raphael knows his way around, because I still don't actually know how to get anywhere over here. Okay, let's have a real close look at this, with a flashlight on. Step closer. Above the mural, a collapsed roof, broken windows set in walls that are cracking and will also soon fall, and the coastal breeze rustling and sighing in the remains of the edifice. Feld electrical. How ironic, all these dark rooms. There's something in the wind. Sometimes the only way to go forward is to fail first. Why do I feel like I know this place? That's why it was the Inland Empire voice speaking to us, because we've been here. We were here during those couple of days, weren't we? Indeed, somehow you knew it was here, An urban ruin gutted by looters that once used to consume money and dispense warmth and light. You felt it before when it rained in Martinez, and you felt the cold of the rain. Feeling persists. It has been in you ever since. You think Ruby could be in there? In there? She could. Or, he points behind you, she could be in the identical ruin over there, or in that boat shack, in that church tower maybe. Why single out this one building? Well, it turns out I do have pretty high shivers. Huh. Interesting that finding the empty trap had some effect on this. Yeah, I guess let's listen to the wind here a moment. This high shiver skill is coming in real handy all of a sudden. Even though you're sure you succeeded, I mean I saw the dice, all is quiet. There is no cold hand brushing against your forehead, no rustle in the reeds. The wind has died down. The ruin in front of you is silent as a tomb. And what was I even attempting to do here? Trying to talk to the wind? The city? Whatever you thought would happen did not. And now you're just standing there with your hands fallen to your side. Is trying to talk to the city something you've done before? Is it your secret... is it in your secret repertoire? A trick for when you're out of ideas? Kim, she could be anywhere. How do we find her? How do we? I was really hoping she'd be in the village. The lieutenant sighs, then gets a hold of himself. Okay. She's probably north of the village, and this place is a peninsula. We already scanned most of the outdoor areas on our wild cryptid hunt, so we have an understanding of the geography at least. And then there's the church. He looks at the bell tower. We've already searched that and can rule it out. I know it doesn't feel like progress, but exclusion is a step too. Anyway, we do it the old-fashioned way, sector by sector. Go over the whole peninsula, ask the locals, enter the places where we can enter first, like we did in the village. And if that fails, if we don't find her, then, if we're desperate, we can look where we can't enter. Bunkers, storm drainage, this place. I'm sure it won't come to that. He looks behind him at the dark red box crumbling across the chasm. Walk the coast, the old boardwalk, the reeds. You can always come back here and talk to the wind again. Hey, look where it already got you. Kind of nowhere, actually. An adventure awaits. An adventure on the wind-swept urban coast. I kind of want to just listen to the wind again right now. I'm thinking that further exploration could potentially unlock the check if we fail it again. So I'm just going to stand here and listen one more time. Suddenly, there's a sigh, carried on the molecules around you, moving, flowing from high pressure to low pressure, like that of a woman emptying her lungs. She wraps the collapsing stone box in front of you in her breath, flowing through it. And where does it go? In through the collapsed roof, flowing down a concrete staircase, to the basement, sweeping away footprints in the dust on the stairs. And then the beach below the boardwalk, its winding tunnels, a whisper away. What is happening? She's down there. Hey, Kim, I think she's down there, below the building. Okay. Why? Listen, ever since I woke up, and maybe even before, I've been getting these strange cold spells? Good, yes, cold spells. He seems incredulous. So basically your hangover is telling you she's down there. Could you call it a gut feeling? That's a cop thing. He shrugs. So, how do we get in there? The doors are on the collapsed side of the building. They're gone, basically. I mean, listen, I'm not real happy about it either, but this thing does exist. Finally, my time to shine. You know, there's a ladder next to the sign. Perhaps we can climb there? Enter the roof? Enter through the roof? Perhaps you can climb them. We're not climbing anything. I'm 43 years old, and I plan to live to see 70. Yeah, I'm not real overjoyed about this. Look at the state of the rungs on this thing. There's a gap here that's got to be like 5 or 6 feet at least. Okay, let's just have a look at it. A rusty ladder leads to the rooftop. Some of the rungs are missing. Yeah, that doesn't look good at all. Let's assess the situation. The distances between the remaining rungs are rather wide. You'd have to use the mounting brackets. However, they seem corroded, and the peeling rust is razor sharp. Well, I do have these very hard gloves and boots I could wear while attempting it. In addition, the first rung is going to be tough to reach. It's what, 3 meters above the ground, and you're 180? 190, I'm a giant. Okay, but still, the roof is collapsing, and the wind gets pretty brutal up there. Dismounting from the ladder is going to be hard. Perhaps if you were to not climb the ladder instead. What if you were to do something more subtle? What if you were to recontextualize climbing the ladder? Yeah, okay, what if I don't climb? What if I just teleport? That's a very in-character thing for us to say. The lieutenant stares at you stone-faced. Teleportation is not a thing. Teleportation is a thing, you just need a bit of concentration. Okay, teleportation is a thing. There's a lot of... I feel like the further on we get in the game, the more frequent the typos are getting. Wouldn't you need some kind of scientific apparatus to create a teleportation field? You can't just do it without an apparatus. What are they talking about? The kid behind you whispers, asking his father. Teleportation, Mikhail. It's generally thought impossible. Well, it won't hurt to try. Yes, it could hurt. A lot. It's actually not a very difficult check. And I saw Tiago climbing, so I'm just going to copy what he did, apparently. Yeah, let's go for it. I'll just teleport up to the roof. All you need to do is close your eyes and concentrate. Darkness enfolds you. You can feel the distance between the bench and the first rung of the ladder. All you need to do is do it. Zoot, zap, pow, crinkle! What's the crinkle? It's like magic. You feel yourself disappear, your atoms fading out of existence. Oh my god, I can't believe it! Bam! You find yourself on the roof, having mastered the art of physical displacement. Don't gloat. This would be a bad time to gloat. Let's just let everybody down there take in the majesty of what just happened. You know, for the record, you didn't teleport there. You just climbed the ladder with your eyes closed. The wind at the top of the building starts howling loudly, blowing away the lieutenant's voice. Faintly, you hear... Never mind. Find a way to let me in when you get inside. Don't go adventuring without backup, especially if we think the suspect may be hiding there. That was easy. I knew I could do it. Man, I'm really curious how differently this stuff works out for different characters. Like, is that a thing that is feasible for everyone to do? Okay, I guess it's time. I'm pretty with Kim on this. We should definitely try to find a way to let him in before anything bad happens, because something bad could happen. We know that Ruby seems to know where to get firearms, or at least know where to get bullets. Maybe we could just crack the window open for him? The glass is covered with grime and dust. You can barely see out. Also, I just for a moment was very curious. How am I doing on this stuff? 5 hours on that, 4.5 on this. Okay. What is this thing on the ground here? It's a postcard that's worth 3 real. That's pretty cool. Huh. Weird that there's such a small area. Is it really gonna have me load out of here? Huh. Why even have that tiny little area in its own loading zone? I wonder if there's something there that we're missing. Something more significant that we should have been able to do there. 'Cause that is weird, right? Let's click on this just to get this thing not to be orange anymore. Okay, well this is all very interesting. This collapse nearly sealed the basement. One can barely squeeze by. Wait, I'm supposed to be letting Kim in. Shoot, no, get back out, get back out. I got distracted. I'm so easily distracted by interactables. Uh-oh. Well, that seems bad. Will you send us a bug report? Yes, I would love to send you a bug report. The thing opened in another window. I will handle that when we are done with the recording. By the way, as a software developer in a previous life, if you get one of those things where you can send a bug report to the developers, please actually do it. It's just, it can be so very, very helpful. Okay, so that's just the way back up. Well, let's have a look around. Okay, Kim's down there. We can let Kim in pretty easily. Antiquated office furniture. Last century, maybe. Let's, hold on. Let's prioritize this. Let's get Kim in here. He's kind of a spoilsport sometimes, but also he is a real good guy who might actually save my life. 2 rusty metal plates that slide apart form a crude door. It's been here under the boardwalk for a while. I'll just push them open. The doors seem to be on rails, but they've gotten jammed. You grab a side and put some strength into prying it open. With the help of your partner, the 2 metal panels slide open with a creak. Huh, I hope no one dangerous heard that. Oh yeah, that's a good point. That was really loud. How did you even get there? After you climbed up to the roof, you mean? There's a maintenance entrance under the boardwalk. It's next to a drain pipe, possibly a storm drain. It was easy to miss before. He's quite proud of himself. A maintenance entrance? So pedestrian. Yes, it's cool to risk your life climbing rickety ladders. Anyway, let's investigate these passages. I mean, look, I'm not gonna lie. That was some good thinking there, Kim. Okay, so that would just be back to the other map. Yeah, I've definitely given up any pretense of stealth here, though. This overturned table is covered in orange mildew and crawling with something. Mildew's not supposed to be orange, I don't think. Old file folders in the cart, documents silvery with mold. Here, a series of thick, dusty panes of glass. Oh, that's interesting. This isn't just glass. These are old computation components. Wait, how are these computer components? Filament memories from the time when wires were cast in glass. Slides with an inlaid nervous system. What? How'd they do that? Also, why? The how was a closely guarded secret. Something that was locked in safes in human heads across the river where they were manufactured. As to why, your fingers don't know that. Hey Kim, look! Old cybernetics. The lieutenant tilts his head, watching the light glimmer on the glass. So it is. I think these used to form a single system slotted in the wall. So this is all that remains of Feld R&D? He nods. The rest of the building seems to have been picked clean, we assume, without having examined it. Could this be part of the Feld playback experiment? These? No, these are old filament memories. I hope you're not expecting to find that device here. You'll be disappointed. Oh, I should make sure we're hitting tab periodically as well, because otherwise I'll miss stuff, like this box. Where we discover a suit jacket that gives suggestion. What a wonderful thing. I'm pretty sure we already had one of those. In the beam of the flashlight, a crevice in the wall. Well, that's interesting. Good thing I have my flashlight equipped 100% of the time. Stale fabric smell and dust. No one slept here in months, maybe years. Revolutionary propaganda on the bunk bed. Ancient flyers and brochures. And here, these pots and plates are full of dust and spiderwebs, so Ruby was probably not here, but this is interesting nonetheless. The same slit window you saw from the outside. Oh, that was weird. Could this have been the killer's hideout, and this narrow window the point of origin of the shot that killed the mercenary? This does look like an embrasure, a slit made for shooting out of. Outside the window, another day. The beach sand soaks up the drizzling rain, growing darker and darker. Hey Kim, could the killer have used this as a hideout? It's a great place to hide, certainly, but there hasn't been anyone here in ages. Kim, I can't see the whirling in rags. The shot definitely didn't come from here. Indeed, no one could get a clear view. Well, at least we've been thorough. I like thorough. A mustachioed and mutton-chopped man, amateurishly depicted, gazes at you with sad eyes. A plaque reads, K. Mazov. There's a spiderweb in the lower left corner of the portrait. Hey look, Kim, it's Comrade Mazov. Yes, I can see that. Looks like some communists were hiding out here. They left a long time ago. The lieutenant does not seem to share your enthusiasm. Now what's with all these secret weapons caches and secret bunkers? We have found a lot of those lately. I guess what most people think of as history tends to linger in run-down neighborhoods. Martinez being what it is, no one's gone through the trouble of cleaning out the old bunkers. A good hiding place for someone who's up to no good. You think it could be connected to the Mazov bust we found in the students' room? I mean, yeah, it's connected, not in a way that matters to us, but... millions of depictions of Mazov have been produced. They're not all connected. Besides, that looked like some student. Youths always go for this kind of stuff. Would someone have stopped through here recently, though? He looks at the dust. You mean like Ruby? No, I think we've stumbled on a piece of history. Well, let's brush the dust off the portrait. Why not? Years' worth of dust is shaken off. The full head of hair, matched by an ample mustache and sideburns, look a bit silly. Someone crouches, heels digging into wet sand. Hands sweep across the sand, grains sticking to the frayed skin of the fingertips. An old man sits on a slab of concrete and taps his fingers against the glass of a scope. You shudder. We are borderline psychic, right? We're getting like weird little snippets of memories off of objects. Who am I, Cal Kestis? This revolutionary's hat gives us +1 to Mazovian socioeconomics. You know, in case you were really trying to get that thought triggered. What have we here? Boot prints in the sand. One of the soles appears more worn than the other. That makes a lot of sense given what we know. Hold on a second. Was I perceiving here? There's something in the air. An unnatural buzzing. This whole area is pretty creepy. The tunnel collapsed. You'll have to find another way around. Well, fortunately, there does appear to be exactly one other way around. Looks very empty. It's getting louder, that buzzing sound. There it is again, like a swarm of hornets buzzing under your scalp. A strange tingling you can almost smell. Lieutenant, do you feel something? No, what do you mean? Like a pain, a strange tingling? I don't feel it, but he looks ahead beyond the arch. We should still be careful. There were footprints back there, and I'm pretty sure they looked fresh. I'm hoping that Kim is starting to come around on our apparent supernatural powers. I have pulled off some wild shit in front of him. Yeah, I saw them too. Footprints with the right sole worn smooth. Looks like our suspect. If she's in here, we need to plan our next step carefully. What do you mean? He lowers his voice. Once we detain a credible suspect, who knows what the Union and the Wild Pines will do? We'll set in motion events we have no control over. You will upset the balance of power in Martinez. The deadlock between the company and the Union will destabilize. Okay, keep calm. Go over the whole situation in detail. Okay, so we're coming up on something real important here. Alright, Everett certainly knows more than he's told us. Maybe we should continue working for him? No, I'm not saying that. We've met Joyce, but we don't know what she knows yet. We should probably find out. Definitely. I think she knows something. About the mercenaries, maybe? But she won't be around if the situation explodes. I've suddenly remembered we were running the serial number on the victim's armor. You think we should finish running it now? He whispers. Maybe you're right. It might not be as useful later. It's a minor point. Don't worry too much about this. There are bigger fish. Do you think whatever happens will affect our cryptozoologists? Hey, they went home, right? You mean Morel? I don't see how cryptozoology and the murder investigation are connected. But the situation in the city will get tense for everyone. If it gets that tense, the amateur zoologists might not be able to do their job. Listen, I'm doing their job. It's under control. I mean, how bad do you think things could get? Well, we're not responsible for what we can't predict, are we? I don't think the entire city will be razed to the ground. He smiles in the dark. If you can't predict it, there's nothing you could have done. I feel less comfortable with that. So, what do you think is waiting for us there? I think I see a cavern. The lieutenant's whisper echoes down the tunnel. Maybe more cellars? I think we've been careful enough. We still have the element of surprise. I don't know about all that. I wouldn't be so sure. You haven't exactly been sneaking. Or maybe not. He puts his hand to his holster. Either way, once we go deeper, there will be no turning back. Boy, that's... Okay. Maybe we should go ahead and back off a little bit here. We should probably run down the armor pieces, and then I guess we can push Joyce one more time. The thing is, Joyce isn't going to tell us anything until we do her job for her, but doing her job for her requires that we talk to Ruby, right? Maybe we just forge on. We were told that the armor thing was a pretty minor point. I think we're just going to push forward. I'm not getting anything out of Everett and Joyce that we haven't already gotten out of them, I don't think. Yeah, let's move forward here. Carefully. Somewhat carefully. Okay, well that'll be Ruby. Interesting that we have a use prompt instead of a talk to prompt. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get these orbs. A concrete pipe buried in sand and dust. Also, a small amount of money. Hooray. And some barrel, which also has a small amount of money in it. I mean, that's her. It would be very silly and video gamey to walk away now and assume she'll still be here when we come back. Let's just move forward here. Oh, whoa. Suddenly, your entire body is paralyzed. Aggressive white noise fills your skull. A strange pain like you've never felt before. Through the static, you hear a woman's voice. It's like 1,000 radio stations are being blasted into your head all at once. But her words are the only ones you can make out.
I know you're feeling pretty uncomfortable right now. Don't move too much or fight it. That'll just make it worse. Can't say it's a pleasure, officer. I was really hoping not to make your acquaintance. But here we are.
As she says the word officer, you feel a spike in the agony. It sounds like the entire radio frequency range is screaming directly into your neural pathways. That's a pretty high pain threshold check. I'm not that good at that. It doesn't feel like covering my ears is going to help here. Oh, that was bad. That was bad. I'm just thinking, like, the pain is not actually approaching us through our ears, I was assuming. That's an awful decision. Why would you not want to shield yourself from it? It's an entirely new type of experience, and way worse than all the previous ones, which is wild, because I've had some pretty bad experiences. What's happening to me?
I'm using a pale latitude compressor. You and your partner have been caught in its field.
You're using one of those devices used to send signals through the pale on me.
Wow, check out the big brains on you. You're not entirely wrong.
We're picking up some numbers through the hiss.
A pale latitude compressor is used to sort of make the pale more manageable. With a lot of these, you can force a radio signal grid on the pale. Literally crunch the distance across it. Signals are relayed across a series of repeater stations fixed to buoys. Not a fun job manning those stations. All alone out there in the pale. People lose their minds in just a few years.
So, what we are experiencing is a concentration of radio waves.
He gestures towards something with great effort.
Precisely. This is an industrial strength paraboloid. It's meant for forcing dimensions on something that doesn't have them. Needless to say, the frequencies used are out of this world.
I think the pale is just a fascinating idea. It's so cool that the coolest thing about this setting is something that you don't discover until like 30 hours into the game.
At the upper limit is the large prime number generator station. It's used specifically for pale latitude compression. That's why you might be hearing some numbers. But you might also hear, or think you're hearing, local radio chatter.
She likes telling you about the machine. Keep her talking. Look for an opportunity to break loose. How did you get your hands on this thing?
I built it myself.
She nods toward her torture device.
That's illegal. I'm guessing it's patented.
Yeah, Kim, that is the smallest possible concern at this moment. But he's just making a note for later. Prosecute Ruby for intellectual property theft.
Oh yeah, way beyond.
She studies her death ray and the law officials trapped in it. Have you experienced the compressor yourself?
Yeah, I stuck my head in there before using it on you. Seemed like the ethical thing to do. Can't say that I enjoyed it. The field was weaker, but I can imagine what you're going through.
Will I stay like this forever?
No. Once I shut down the compressor, the pain will end. It may take a few minutes for you to steady yourself, though. It's a bit like walking out of a very confusing dream.
Well, I mean, that's pretty much what we feel like every moment of every day. Yep, and we're definitely getting signals here. So my rhetoric sense said we should just keep her talking about the machine and look for an opportunity to break loose. We're probably not going to be able to question her in any meaningful way here. Please, turn it off. I can't take it anymore.
You're big boy. You can handle it. Stop being so damn melodramatic.
If you're looking for a deal on mattresses...
Damn this.
Kim's voice got so much louder all of a sudden.
God damn it.
She regards you and Kim with sudden sympathy.
Fine. I can dial it down. I've also got a gun, by the way.
She steps reluctantly out of the shadows, and the pain lessens. The gun she's carrying is a 2-barreled front-loader, not like the murder weapon. Well, it doesn't feel much better, but you can form sentences now. Thinking doesn't seem to hurt as much. There's only 3 meters between you and the machine. If you keep her distracted for long enough, maybe... be careful when you make your move, because that'll be it for questions. Bide your time. So we do have an appropriate tool equipped for smashing. That's a lucky break on our part. We don't want to lose this check. Let's talk to her. How did you know we were coming? I've heard you in the passages, and I've been prepping for quite a while. I wonder if you don't do the loud door opening thing, if you come in here via the roof and then you sneak in by yourself and you're careful, I wonder if you can get to her before she turns on the thing. By hiding bullets under floorboards? So you found my shack, huh? I'm not surprised. Her tone is bitter. She thinks she's been betrayed. I feel like we owe the washerwoman enough that we ought to say this. We have an ethical responsibility to say this. She didn't rat you out, by the way, Isabel, the washerwoman. So nice. She smiles a little smile. That's one knife I didn't want to find in my back. Preparing for a shootout? Is that why you're hiding ammo? I was, before I caught you in the pale latitude compressor. I'm fine now. That's her admitting the bullet was an emergency exit. And we haven't gotten any bonuses here yet. Did you shoot Lely? No, I didn't do it. I only helped stage the lynching. Though I doubt that makes much of a difference to you. Actually, it makes a tremendous difference to me. Who ratted me out, by the way? Was it Titus? No, he wouldn't have broken first. So we do have to admit that it was Claudia. We can't spin her a story here. So which way is better? Ruby says she didn't do it. So let's phrase this as Claudia sharing her suspicions rather than Claudia telling me everything. Because Ruby's just going to say no, she didn't tell you everything, I bet. Now you're right, Claudia was the first to share her suspicions. Oh, she smiles sadly. I knew the kitten had claws, but not like this. But she couldn't have known I was on the coast. How did you find me? There's no version of this that isn't telling her what happened, so we'll do this version. This version at least makes it sound like Titus tried to hold out. Oh, fuck. Took some convincing my ass. Those guys liked me, I know it. If this is what happens to people whom people like... How the fuck do the rest of you get by? Wait, wasn't it you who called me the human can opener? It's not personal, I just opened them up. I did, didn't I? and now you've come for me, she scoffs. But fuck them all the same. That did make her forgive them, a little. Good. I don't know why it's important to me to maintain her relationships with everybody else, but I don't know, man. First of all, I want credit for all the hard work I did. But secondly, I just don't want to feel like I'm hanging anybody out to dry when they don't deserve it. Honestly, I don't know how I do it. I just stumbled in here. Can you please explain it to me? That's interesting. I mean, what I want her to do is to lose focus on us, right? I want her, like, introspective, thinking about other things, so that she doesn't notice immediately when I go for the device. So yeah, actually, let's say this. Can you please explain this shit to me? What shit? She adjusts her grip on her gun. I told you I didn't do it. Sounds pretty simple to me. A strong moral compass. She still wants the opportunity to make a case for herself. Do you have an alibi for when Lily was shot? Man, I was with the boys the whole night. I hope they at least bothered to impress that upon you. Yeah, there were 10 minutes they couldn't really account for. You mean the length of a toilet break? That wouldn't even have been enough time. Our investigation... That's weird. It's acting like I said the 15 minutes thing. Our investigation has shown that the 15 minutes was just enough time to commit the murder, actually. Wow, now I'm curious. Please, explain. You play pinball much? No, not since I was 14 and hanging out at the only diner in Dardan. I haven't been into low-risk, no-reward games since moving to the city. Why? There are some mysterious pinball machines and some pretty mysterious rooms in the whirling. Yeah, and probably some ghosts from the time of the suzerain. I'm not really interested in supernatural mysteries. Well, that's a shame, because I happen to be a paranatural detective. I'm so glad the game's finally giving me a chance to say it. Cool, they sent a ghost cop after me. Congratulations. Okay, never mind mysteries. Look, there's a secret way from the whirling bar to the roof. Don't know it. But also, she frowns, studying your face. Evaluating your competence as a police officer. Probably on account of that thing I said about ghosts. The shot couldn't have come from the roof, or we all would have heard it downstairs. She has a point there. No one mentioned... The pain stops him from finishing the sentence. So what else is there even to say here? I mean, we should ask her about Lely. Would you say that Lely was a likable person? I didn't like him. Hardened mercenaries aren't the particularly likable types. There's nothing more personal that you had against him? Perhaps his way with women? You think I was envious of his conquests? Look, pussy's not a problem for me, and definitely not a reason to off someone. But did you feel protective of the Union? Well, yeah, sure, and I didn't like Wild Pines sending in foreign hirelings. Me and a fuck ton of other people around here. She didn't hate him, okay? Yeah, I get it. Alright, I have some other questions, I suppose. You liked Klasia a lot. I considered her a good friend, yeah? Are you a girl like her? Is peeping one of your hobbies? Wow, pissing, pinball, and now peeping. I'm just not following your insinuations, detective. There's a hole in the wall. You could see into Klasia's room. I wouldn't blame you if you would have. Nah, that's probably not a good way to approach this. Klasia said you may have used the peephole in her wall? How much do I want her to think that Klasia in particular has it out for her? I guess a lot. If I suspect that Klasia's the shooter, what we want to do is try to paint a version of this where Ruby feels like she's defending herself against Klasia. So yeah, let's say this one. Damn, the girl's pretty, but not that pretty. In fact, no one's pretty enough to waste time skulking about the whirling, drilling holes in walls. So you haven't been watching Klasia through a hole in the wall? No. Look, she has an effect on people. That je ne sais quoi that makes it impossible not to look at her when she walks into the room, and very difficult to look away. But travel enough and you realize, for the same reason that she's everyone's type as an object of desire, she's not irreplaceable. But you did want to be more than just friends. Ah, so that's where you were going with this. I mean, she said you wanted to run away with her. That's a very sentimental way of putting it. We both had pasts that we didn't want to catch up with us, and we enjoyed listening to music together. Why not go on a road trip? The lieutenant watches her expectantly, occasionally shaking from the pain. Okay, fine. She rolls her eyes. I was into her. Klasha was into me too. Klasha was into me too, for a time. I know it. We even fooled around once. And yeah, after that I thought maybe we could make a go of it. Klasha only said they maybe kissed. Someone's lying here. Yeah, I have a suspicion who it is. I'm just gonna say then what happened. We don't need to... Klasha only likes truly buff men? No, I suspect that we don't even believe that. Then what happened? She rejected me with some wishy-washy bullshit about how she was confused because she felt so close to me and valued my friendship so much. How guilty she felt for leading me on. I knew that wasn't the whole story, but thought, fine, I'll take it and move on. No ill will there. This wasn't a problem for her. Klasha said you got very angry when she started seeing Lely. You threatened her. Yeah, one time, when we'd both been drinking, I said some heated things about how dangerous her patterns with men were. I was worried she'd blow it out of proportion in her head. All the drugs she was doing can make you feel like you're living in a DeLorean tragedy. That's a tragedy where the doors open upward rather than outward. And despite everything, you helped her by staging the lynching. Yeah, the girl seemed terrified. The merc was beyond caring what happened to his mortal coil. It was a no-brainer. There are other things I ask about. Yeah, go ahead. It's your body. And mine too, he thinks. But keep on. This must be done. Now, you do have a gun. And... I can't quite tell. What kind of gun is it? A Noctway 80 front loader. 2-barreled. Not really what you were looking for, I'm guessing. Okay, so she knows a little bit about guns. That's interesting information, right? Where did you get it? The gun store. Wait, what gun store? Trigger Happy Jacks? That does not sound like the name of a real store. What did you think? I'm gonna squeal on my gun supplier? Sorry, I'm not that kind of gal. Do you collect guns? Maybe old rifles? No, they're not practical. They break too often. Okay, there's other evidence I want to ask you about. Do you like to hang out on rooftops? We're getting real desperate here. Sure, who doesn't? Oh, you probably mean Klasha's rooftop. Sure, I've hung out there. She's got this great antenna. What's so great about her antenna? Well, it's very powerful. I used it to tune into RCM frequencies. That's how I knew to be prepared for your arrival. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Is that the only reason you hung out on the roof? Well, the view's pretty bomb too, but you might say the antenna was the main attraction there, yeah. Along with Klasha. So you're sure you didn't shoot the merc from the roof? Yeah, I'm sure. And anyway, as I said before, the shot had to have come from afar. Well, it had to have come from afar, or it had to have been muffled somehow, right? I'm just thinking, you know, pillows on the bed. Maybe that's only a thing that actually works in TV shows. Okay, let's take a step back. So did I get anything out of that? Not a bit. So if you didn't kill him, why hide? I saw you roll into town. I wasn't about to stick around for questioning by a goddamn La Puta Madre agent. So this is what she was scared to tell Titus. This cop. What do you mean, La Puta Madre agent? She looks at you quizzically. Yeah, you. Everyone says you're his peon. His human can opener. Ow. Okay, damn it. Through the sudden sharp pain in your head, you hear the lieutenant mumble something to himself. Fucking hell and why me, you hear through the white noise. It's especially bad suddenly. Felt like a vein exploded. Wait, who's everyone? How do you know this? Everyone in Jamrock? The cops? The criminals? Why do you think I'm holed up in here with a goddamn death ray waiting for you? If she knows that about you, she must know your real name, too. Wait, I know what my real name is. I know both of my real names. Tell me, what's my name? If you know that about me, you must know my name. Harry Dubois, she replies quickly. One corrupt motherfucker with the disco pants and the funny tie. Agent to la puta madre. All this just means that you're effective. Criminals know you and are scared of you. I'm no one's agent. I don't even know who La Puta Madre is. Right, sure, you don't know. Could you tell me about it? I'm sure La Puta Madre himself will explain it to you all soon enough. A man in a white suit walks through a garden coaxed from soil that had once been covered in asphalt. A city block closed off from the rest of the city by dark buildings. Just barely succeeded. Rows and rows of poppies, most of which have lost their pink bloom, flank his steps. The man looks around, then up at the sky, and sighs. Taking out a knife, he crouches at the end of one flower bed. He scores a seed pod very gently. Milky sap begins to ooze out. The pain comes over you again. What did you do to this Madre anyway? You know what I did. I fucked him over. She pauses. And now I have Harry can opener in my lair. Fucking Titus. Wait, one thing, possibly small, but she said you rolled into town. Was that you singular or plural? She might know something. Yeah, actually, I know that we're trying to get out of the torture and whatever, but this is definitely interesting. So when I came into town, was there anyone with me? Yeah, you had your death squad with you. What happened to him anyway? Who's in this squad? Well, it wasn't this scrawny dude. She nods toward the lieutenant. You had 2 guys and a lady. The guys looked pretty buff. Lady wasn't bad either. What else can you tell me? One of the guys seemed chipper, a blonde, and the other had a brooding something or other about him. And the woman was the only one in uniform. All were carrying. She narrows her eyes. That sound about right? No idea who these people are. Literally. No, that doesn't ring any bells. Well, this has been a great talk, really, but I think I'm going to hit the road now. She means it. You better make your move. Okay. That's not so good. The violent white noise becomes even more overwhelming closer to the compressor. Feels like your brain is swelling up in your skull. Okay, hold still. Try to have an apocalyptic vision. For some reason, these always calm me down. Officer, are you okay? Don't worry, Kim. I'm just trying to have an apocalyptic vision. This does not prevent Kim from worrying, I guess. The pain intensifies as your hands attempt to reach out into the pale chaos. What are you doing? I told you it's best not to move. Alright, just try not to collapse. Look, I know this isn't very fun for you, so let's wrap this up. You have a tribunal to attend. Tribunal? What tribunal? Do you know about the bunker next door? What bunker? Just a bunker. Have you been there? I don't know anything about it. No one's been around since I set up camp. But I'm sure I'm not the first vagabond to... Her voice trails off into white noise in your head. It feels like an aneurysm approaching. Ah. Keep calm. Breathe in. After the pain recedes, it's a little clearer. So we're going to keep losing health if I keep questioning her here, but we're learning really interesting stuff, and she's going to bail on us once we're done. I'm so disappointed we passed that check, but again, like, a version of the story we wouldn't have chosen to tell has value as well, right? So who killed the merc if it wasn't you? Well, how should I know? As I keep saying, he already had a bullet in his head when I got to him, and there hasn't been any useful gossip over the radio. Those rings around her eyes, her tired voice. She's been staying up listening to the conversations crisscrossing Martinez. Police radio. You've been following the case. Who hasn't? She shrugs. You know, I can still see him there in Klosh's room, laying on his side. He was still warm, but the bluish light coming through the broken window made him look as though he'd been dead for a good long while. Well, what happened Sunday night? Tell me your version. She eyes you warily, as though gauging your sincerity. It's okay. We just want to... He struggles to finish the sentence. Alright, don't kill yourself over it. I was shooting the shit with Hardy and the boys over a few beers, like always. Then Klasia comes in, all pale and shuddering. She sits down with a drink, trying to steady her nerves, so I grab a seat next to her. Klasia said you knew something was wrong immediately. No, I really didn't. She's not that easy to read. I just assumed she'd done too much blow. It wouldn't be a first for her, but no such luck. She was in some deep shit. She asked me to come upstairs. The merc she'd been going with was lying on the bedroom floor, dead. I knew she couldn't get the authorities involved, so, yeah. You made it look like he'd been hanged. Klasia found it weird you came up with a plan so quickly. What? No, faking a lynching was her idea. I knew it. Her idea? Yeah, in cold blood. It really surprised me how quickly she was able to get a hold of herself once we got up there. It was like she was another person. The party girl was gone. She asked me to help her drag him into the shower so we could wind the shower head around his neck to fake lividity. Then she dressed him while I went to get the Hardy boys. That's bad that she'd be so calm. Yeah, I wasn't sure whether to admire her or be disturbed. So, do you think she killed Lely herself? I mean, as I keep telling you cops, we didn't hear anything downstairs. No gunshot, nothing. But, even if this is true, the lieutenant forces himself to finish the sentence. Weren't you worried this lynching might lead to... war? She purses her lips. The thought crossed my mind, but the mercenary's death was going to have repercussions either way. Although, the way things are going... She doesn't want to talk about this, but not because she has something to hide. She doesn't want the guilt. She shrugs. Fuck it. I'm not responsible for these people after what they did to me. You said something about a tribunal? She sighs. Yeah, the mercenaries are about to set up a tribunal and execute someone for killing Lely. How do you know this? I was listening in on their frequency. She pauses, biting her lip. Even though those assholes gave me up, I'm worried for the boys. And you, watch out for yourself. Or watch out for yourselves. You seem to have a habit of walking into traps. Yeah, I'm really good at it, actually. Why is everyone always against me? I'm asking myself that right now, too. Anyway, I'm guessing you don't know that a third mercenary has come to town just in time for the tribunal. Now you do. 3 mercenaries, no doubt armed to the teeth and hungry for vengeance. And you've only got muzzle loaders. This isn't looking good. A third... oh, this is bad. She nods. As I said, watch out. The pain is becoming unbearable now. I can't take it anymore, just go. I'm glad to have been of assistance. She tosses her head back defiantly and turns down the machine. Best of luck to you, officers. Revachol's a bitch. The woman runs past you and disappears into the darkness of the tunnel. Well, that could have gone better. My suspicion is... a lot has been made about the fact that nobody heard the gunshot. That is consistent with the gunshot occurring a great distance away. And if the gunshot occurred a great distance away, frankly, I would think it was somebody else who was a mercenary who did it, probably, right? We're talking about some serious gear and some very impressive skills. But it's also consistent with there not having been a gun involved at all. You know, I was thinking about, like, maybe Klasia found a way to fake a gunshot, like, through the window. Found a way to do some damage to a window that people would interpret as a bullet hole. Maybe that doesn't make a lot of sense, but it makes... I don't know that it makes any more sense that somebody shot the mercenary in the roof of his mouth from a great distance away. I don't know. The whole thing is just very hard to untangle. All things considered, the lieutenant is still reeling from the pain. That could have gone worse. Wait, shouldn't we go after her? I don't think she did it. She's someone else's case now. Too late now anyway. She's gone. So, what now? Now we have to come up with a really good excuse for why we walked right into a trap like that. This isn't going to look good in the report. Well, because it was a crazy death ray. Who's going to believe that we thought there was any chance there was a death ray involved? He looks around, then points further into the cavern. Her tent. Maybe there's something in there. Yeah, maybe. Okay, more bugs. Listen, I'll deal with it. I'll handle this. We'll send some bug reports. Let's do a little investigation here, and then we'll call it for the day. Dark water trails into the distance. There is no way out. Yeah, I'm getting that feeling lately. Cooking utensils. She's prepared herself porridge with bananas. Also, a little bit of getaway money. And, okay, great. Great health items. Very thoughtful of the game developers to put those there. The plain red tent stands by dispassionately, as tents often do. It was pitched by practiced hands. She's used to camping out. The tent looks old but well maintained. In the darkness of the tent, a rolled-up sleeping bag, cooking utensils, some books, and a kerosene lamp. It reeks of cigarettes. Let's see what these books are. Assorted softcovers, mostly pulp horror. A motor carriage lies buried in the snow on one cover. On another, a ghost airship. You also see a collection of radio enthusiast magazines. The lieutenant peeks in over your shoulder. See anything? Raygun Monthly, the Journal of Material Science, More Technological Digest. One of the magazines doesn't even have images on the cover. Wait, this isn't a magazine, it's a leather notebook. You pocket the worn brown leather journal. Yeah, that seems like it might be significant. We should read this immediately. Like right now. I hear what you're saying, Kim, but it's getting to be a little bit of a long one. So maybe that's a thing we could do tomorrow. That's going to be it for us for right now. Thank you all so much for watching. Come back next time when probably, I'm going to guess, we still don't quite get a handle on what's going on around here, and also maybe we get murdered by mercenaries. And we'll see you then.